Don's Tree Service. I hope you guys are having an incredible Friday. I can't believe the week is already done, and I'm just here because I want to answer a couple of you guys' most common questions, and I'm gonna go ahead and see right here. I'm actually in a car at the moment, as you can tell, but some of our most commonly asked questions, I wrote them all down so I could answer them for you. So, and if you guys have any questions or want me to answer anything on the spot, be happy to do that too. So the first question I have is actually a really funny one, because this, when it happens, it kind of throws you off. And this question is, why does my tree smell like beer? And the reason is because if your tree is starting to smell like beer, it's due to the fermenting sap, or actually the fruit fermenting. And some trees leak sugars that yeast and bacteria feed on, creating a boozy aroma. It's like nature's accidental brewery. If you notice the smell, check for leaking wounds, overripe fruit, or decay. It is very possible that your tree might need a little bit of help, because if there's fermentation happening, there's usually a little bit of rot happening as well. And then also, people ask us this a lot too after we get a tree done, and they're like, "Oh, I want to do some landscaping," and they ask, "Do you guys do free mulch?" And yes, we do. All you have to do is ask us, and it's first come, first serve. So if you want some mulch, all you got to do is give us a call, or a text, or an email. We're very easy to get in contact with. So the third question I have is, why are there dead limbs on my tree? And this one actually has two parts, because sometimes, most of the time, if you see just a couple of dead limbs on your tree, that's just natural. Like, I tell this to clients that I go to as well. If you see a couple of dead limbs, that's like us when we wash our hair and we have a couple of hairs that come out. Same thing. Very natural, just a tree shedding a couple limbs so that it can channel the rest of its energy to the healthy limbs. So that's actually really interesting about trees, that they can compartmentalize. If they see that something's starting to die or starting to have an infection, they can cut off the energy to it and put the rest of that energy to the rest of the tree. And then the second part of that answer is that sometimes if you see a significant amount of the canopy is dead limbs, then that's when you want to give us a call, and we can do a free inspection. Just check on your tree, make sure that there's not so much that there's actually something else going on with the tree. And usually when you have that kind of dead wood where it's a lot of the canopy, there's something else going on, and you can usually see it in the roots, or there's some kind of decay in the trunk, or it could also be an ant infestation, termite infestation. Caterpillars can do a number sometimes too. So you just have to be careful and know what kind you're dealing with, whether it's just natural or need something that's a little more serious. Oh, and also, hello, welcome to the live. Happy that you are here. And the next question is, I love this question, why are there mushrooms at the base of my tree? And if y'all know anything about mushrooms, it's usually because there's something dead going on there. And the mushroom that you have to look out for is Ganoderma mushrooms. They're these big, black, gnarly looking mushrooms that grow at the base of trees. Also, welcome to the live. Happy that you're here. Hello, hello. And what happens with those is they're actually feeding on dead root material that's a little deeper into the tree. So if you see Ganoderma mushrooms, most of the time that means that tree needs to be removed. And that's better to know than just not knowing what it is and just having to go with it. So this next question is, why should you go with Don Tree Service? Which, I'm a little biased, but I think we are the best tree service. When you become a DTS client, you are a part of our family. Like, we'll call you up for your birthday, be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And just make sure you're doing all right. Like a client of ours a little while ago, an older lady, she's absolute sweetheart, and we did an estimate for her. She wants to do the job, but she was a little uneasy, and we just didn't know why. So it was actually my mom, Doni, who was doing this job, and she just got to talking to the lady, and she was like, hey, I'm a little bit older, but I don't feel like going right now. Like, I still have so much life in me, but I just fell, and I don't want to go like this. So she was just really nervous about her health and where she was going, and we actually prayed for her, and we just held her hand and said, like, hey, everything's gonna be all right. You don't have to worry about the trees. You don't have to worry about that. And she was good with everything with that. She just needed a little bit of reassurance. And I can tell you, not every tree service is going to take the time to create that relationship. And that's really what we do. We want to create a relationship with you that will last years, because we're a family. Like, we can't do what we do without y'all. So we want to take care of y'all in whatever way we can. So my next question is, how many people does it take to remove a tree? That's actually a great question, because it can take between just like 2 people taking down a tree, 1 person cutting it down, 1 person hauling it away, or it can take, if you have a really, really big oak or a complex job, that can be a crew that needs 5 to 7 people, a crane, a chipper, a dingo. Like, you can get into some really, really complex jobs where you just need more machines and more manpower to get everything done. But the most important thing is that you have enough people and equipment to do it safely, and also do it with fun too. More hands makes it easier. So also, hello to the new people joining the live. Good to see you. Happy Friday. And how do you become a tree climber? So for us, a lot of our guys have actually become climbers through our company. So we don't hire a whole lot of climbers. A lot of the people have started as groundsmen, and then they learn our process. They learn the equipment they need to use. They learn how to rope. They learn all this stuff, and then they become the senior climbers, and then they teach the next people. And it's funny because my dad actually was our main climber for a long time, and he was amazing. Like, it was like watching art when he went up. So he actually taught pretty much everyone after him, and then IU took over and started teaching everyone, and most of our climbers have come up through us teaching them. So all of them know the way we cut trees and do proper cuts and make sure that we're taking care of the tree, especially when we're doing pruning. So next, do you need a permit to cut down a tree? Actually, it depends. In Atlanta, for sure, every time you're gonna need a permit, and that's just because they want to maintain the canopy of Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta is known as the forest city. Also, hello, welcome to the live. Happy that you're here. And because Atlanta is known as the forest, like city in a forest, they want to maintain that. They want to make sure that you're not just clearing out lots just to clear out lots. You're gonna have a reason, and it's gonna be a dead, dying, or hazardous tree. So they're very particular on that. And also, just different cities in Atlanta, you got to make sure that there's a reason that you're removing a tree. Yeah, and if you have any questions, feel free to pop in and ask. I would love to answer any. And my next question is, is my tree dead? Which is a great question, and honestly what we deal most with. And the way that works is just, if you're seeing dead wood, if you're seeing mushrooms, if you're seeing no leaves in the spring, that's when you're like, want to give Dawn Tree Service a call. Get them out here, check on my trees. Also, hello, good to see you, good to see you. Happy Friday. And what we do too is, for our clients, we do biannual checkups, so that just 2 times a year we come out, take a look at your tree for free, and make sure that everything's looking good. So that's a service that we do. Also with the permits, because we want to, again, going back to taking care of our clients, we take care of that entire process. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to call the city. You don't have to like go back and forth with different arborists. We get the pictures, we get the measurements, do the whole thing. No work on your part. Try to make it as easy as possible. And my next question, also if you guys have any questions, let me know. This is actually a fun question for me. What does it mean to be a certified arborist? One, it means that you've taken the exam and you've had at least 3 years in work experience with like working with trees. And I'm actually currently training to be a certified arborist. So I'm doing the webinars, like studying the book, all of it. And there's a lot that goes into being a certified arborist, but the base of it is just loving trees and caring about nature, because otherwise it's gonna be really hard to get through all of the program if you're like, I don't really care about trees, like blah blah blah. There's a lot of information about trees, and what I've found as I'm starting to study is that the more and more I know about trees, the more and more I love them. So it is one of my favorite parts of my job when I go to an estimate to actually help people understand what's going on with their trees. Now, if they're like, hey, just like boom, 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 like just tell me what to do, like blah, 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 that's fine too. But often I love to just share a little bit of information, not just overload you with information, but let you know and educate you in some ways of what's going on with your trees, so that if you go to a friend's house, or if you go to your mom's house or your dad's house, I don't know, you can actually look at their trees, and if you see something concerning, you can end up helping them by catching the signs early on. So that's why education is so important. So I don't want you to be completely reliant on us. Yes, we have a lot of information, but it's also our job to share that information so we can help y'all. And genuinely, that's like one of my favorite parts of my job, is just seeing things click for people about trees and nature. So I love nature. And seeing if there's any questions in the chat. Not seeing any questions, so I'm gonna keep on trucking. Oh, how long does it take to remove a tree? That's actually funny, because people ask us this a lot. And honestly, it could be between, if you have a small little dogwood, like 30 minutes. And then if you have like several large oaks, that could be a 2-day job, honestly. And it just depends on the tree's location, how big the tree is, how many limbs it has, because I don't think that's something that people think about a lot. If a tree has a lot more limbs, it's going to take a lot longer to take it down, especially if it's over your house or over a shed. We want to be extremely careful when we take that down, because we don't want to hit anything. We don't want to just cut that limb and then boom, it's on the ground. And that's actually why we use brakes and ropes and pulleys to make sure that whenever we're cutting down a tree, it's done as safe as possible and as controlled as possible. So we want to slow those limbs down as they come down to make sure that they're not going to break anything. And also, if anything does happen, if crazy things do happen, we're fully licensed, fully insured, so that would be completely on us, and we'll take care of that. Let's see. So Jake McCrory asks, how big of a tree could I safely cut down myself? Actually, you got to be careful about that, because if it's just a small tree that it's just like, it's pretty much just a large stick, you can cut that down yourself pretty easily and not get hurt. But if you're looking into cutting down like a 20, 30, 40 foot tree by yourself with many limbs that are hanging over the house, I would not recommend it, because that's when you end up getting into some really dangerous stuff. And if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know all of the techniques in order to, one, prune it correctly if you're pruning, and two, if you're removing, making sure that you have the safety equipment, such as saddles and ropes and pulleys, to make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself with just like swinging that chainsaw, then that's when you want to give us a call, because we already can get all that handled, and you can go and enjoy the rest of your day. So I hope you guys do enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your time. And if you guys have any more questions, you can give us a call, give us an email, or text us, and we'd be happy to come out and help you with your trees. So y'all enjoy your Friday, and thank you so much.